Finally, after all of this time, we get something from the company about Chaos Ore, where we should be able to see and get the Chaos Ore from. So finally, like I said, for the first time, we are getting somewhere in this game where we have communication about the resource everyone's been talking about that we want. So let's get right into it. What up, team? It's your boy MurderInc here, back again with another banger of a video talking about Chaos Ore. The whales have been waiting for it. I mean, listen, medium to low spenders, I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about Chaos Ore? Is it nice? I've already explained the value. It's through the roof. It's well beyond anything we have in the game here, and I'm not going to go over that now. I already did that video about the specifics on why it's so strong, but listen. We've got nothing besides their original post where they said we could see it in this area, that area, this area. So now, finally, they said something. What did they say? Chaos Ore has already been scheduled and planned for tournaments as well as events. Now, this may sound like murder. Wait, this isn't news at all. The thing is, they never said specifically where we're going to see them. They gave us 3 options of where they could appear, which was tournaments, events, and limited offers, but they didn't give us anything concrete. Now, it's already been implemented. We don't see it in the game, of course. I tried to pry for the exact dates, but they said we want it to feel special when people see it. And I said, okay, it's already marked in everyone's calendar. Wait for Chaos Ore, save up that energy if you're going for it. I understand some people may not care about it for some reason or the other, but listen, this goes back to the core problem of what happened to feasts and what happened to barrels, right? I don't even think I have any of those. Okay, so I have 1 barrel, huge for many players, being able to skip all of that farming, all of that good stuff with just 1 single barrel. But where did they go? We heard nothing from the company about these things. Did the sales, did the interest in the event they were in, did it not do well? Is that why we're not seeing them? Did they consider them too strong for the game and heavily retract their initial plan of putting them in all of the events? But the more important thing is, where are they going to put Chaos Ore? Now, this is kind of why I wanted to bring this up and ask you guys, because they said it's going to be in events. So let's just take a look at events really quick. The current event going on is Dungeon Divers event, and this is the reward. It is a fusion reward. I do know they look differently, but where can we expect to see Chaos Ore? Are we going to get it instead of the rare tome at 1950? Probably not. Is it going to replace the last 2? That one would kind of be unfortunate, and I'm sure you guys understand why. It's going to take a lot of points to get any type of Chaos Ore. So if it were me, I know it's not me, but if it were me, I think the 1,000, 4,450 is good. Epic and 1,000, 4,450 for the legendary. Personal hot take there. Realistically, I do think both of them are going to appear in the bottom row. If they even put, I hope they put both qualities of the Chaos Ore in a single event. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Events are more straightforward. There's only so many things we can look at here. And what rewards don't we want getting replaced? Obviously the Ancient Shard Epic Skill Book, probably not. Rank Charms, it depends on the person. Some people have an abundance, some people have barely any, so they're going to want that. XP Boost, really good if you're a free-to-play player. You run out of these things all the time, so that's probably not something to take away here. Where the Champion Fragment is, I think that's a pretty decent place to put it. So I would be really happy personally if I saw the Legendary where the Champion Fragment is. That's only 3,300 points, and then the next one, XP Brew times 5. Listen, if you're going to cry over XP Brew times 5, over getting an epic Chaos Ore piece, I don't know what to tell you. The other thing is, do we think they're just going to give us 1 of each? I'm leaning towards yes. I hope I'm happily surprised and they give us 2, maybe 3. I think I'm dreaming. I really do think I'm dreaming based on how I've personally kind of looked at the gauge of the game and seen how I would price it. I think they're more along the lines of what they're going to consider a legendary book, which isn't as bad as a sacred shard, don't get me wrong, but legendary book is a legendary book, so kind of expensive. So with that being said, I do think we're only going to get 1 of each. Unlucky, but like I said, would be happily surprised if, and this is what they're trying to do, from who I've talked with, the whole goal is to surprise everyone with Chaos Ore, even though they kind of let us know in advance that we would be getting them, but now they have them scheduled in upcoming events and tournaments here. And we're going to talk about tournaments next, of course, because this is something that I know a lot of players are going to be interested in, as far as what are they going to be replacing here. Now, this definitely matters a lot because tournaments have always had rather strong rewards on the right side here. So maybe not so much this specific one. This is probably a bad example, but in other tournaments, you have things like legendary books, you have shards. So I'm hoping they're not going to be replacing that. I think it's fair to replace the 4-star chicken with Chaos Ore. 50 gems, they should probably keep the gems, probably keep the silver brews. There's no way they put Chaos Ore this low, but I do believe we're going to see Chaos Ore from the first, second, and third rolls here. Now, if they're smart, they give Chaos Ore for the top 10. It's epic until, let's say, 5 or 4 or even 3. Then the top 3 get epic on top of legendary, or just the first place gets legendary on top of epic, and then global, they can do whatever they want. So this is kind of the main concern here, and like I said, I picked a terrible, let's just look at this. Even this one's a terrible example. So there's no current tournaments available right now. Maybe this is even bigger problem. Tournament rewards, they're not that good. Why is there ever 5-star gear for a first place reward in any tournament? Right? Think about it. Think about how the game has progressed. 6-star gear is significantly better. I don't care what gear set it's in. Stat wise, it's significantly better than 5-star gear. There's just no comparison there. With glyphs especially, to the moon. So why don't we have 6-star gear all the time on at least the first place? I mean, of course, this only is relevant to what, like 100 or 200, 250 players per tournament bracket, but it's still ridiculous to see 5-star gear there. Another thing is these charms. I don't think this is a good reward to have in tournaments, period. The same thing with brews. We get brews from Clan Boss, and I don't know. I just don't think this is the proper place for it. Maybe they're testing on what people are kind of reacting to the most here. But when you put a fragment fusion shard on top here, you know players that want the champion are going to get it regardless, so it's really a faulty way to kind of measure things. This is probably like a cheap cop-out here saying, we can get away with putting anything we want underneath this fragment because we know they're going to go for the top reward. So I do get that it's unfortunate logic, but we have to see, because ideally we don't want them replacing legendary books or shards. I mean, shards 50-50. They're both RNG as far as Chaos Ore and shards here, so it's up to you guys, whatever you guys think. I'd be curious about your feedback. What do you think they should be replacing in tournaments on the right side? Hoping we get it there and not just as a first, second, or third place reward. Now that I think about it, I really hope they do that, because the whole purpose of introducing a new item into the game is to see how it does in its first public setting. So we all got it for free. We all got kind of our feet wet, and we got to see what Chaos Ore is all about. That was fantastic. Some people used it improperly, so they think it's terrible. Listen, it is what it is. Hopefully by now they've realized their mistakes and realized that it's a very strong item in this game for sure. Now, with that being said, hopefully they give more people the opportunity to get them, making sure it's accessible to every single player. Now, events, this is the good news, and this is why this is relevant information besides having specific dates, because they want it to be a surprise, even though they kind of said it's already scheduled, which means in the very near future, we're going to see Chaos Ore. So if they don't put it on the right side here, I think the tournaments are going to be a disaster. While whales will probably pursue the Chaos Ore, 99% of players aren't going to care about that tournament, so I think it's going to hurt them more than help them, unless they're smart about it. But going back to events here, events are pretty straightforward. Anyone can participate. You cannot get beat out by a whale in this. It simply has to do with, do you have the resources at the moment to participate in this event, which is why I really hope they don't put them in the final tier rewards here. What they should be doing is, instead of testing how far people are willing to go for the Chaos Ore, they should be testing kind of like in the upper threshold range. Now, of course, they have all the analytics on this. How far does the average player go on each event? If they're only going to 2,600 points, they should not be putting Chaos Ore at 6,500 points. It just doesn't make sense. They should put it at 4,000 to try to push a little bit more out of players. Maybe they have to spend $5, $10 to get that Chaos Ore. That's definitely worth it if the money is that low. However, if they have to spend triple, from what I can see here, the points just to get that Chaos Ore, and it's replacing something like equally as beneficial or even more beneficial to accounts, I'm not buying it. I'm really not buying it. I hope they don't do that. I think that would be the biggest disaster ever. The only thing I'm worried about for events, hear me out here, if they put it with summoning events, I think that's also, it would be a bad move. It really would be a bad move. I would be disappointed if I saw it. Like I said, they didn't give me specifics on the event. They wanted all of this to be a surprise to the players, but I'm praying for me and for all of you watching here that they do not tie any of this, whether it's tournament or events for the Chaos Ore, to an aspect of the game that requires summoning. Champion training, I get it. People are always 6-starring champions, dungeon divers, artifact events. Listen, this is all a part of account progress. Pulling shards is pure greed. It is what it is. I've done tons of meme, not shard pull videos about that already. You can check them out if you missed them. They were a lot of fun to make, but that's just the greedy aspect of the game, and I don't like that. I hope they don't go that route overall. And the next thing is, hopefully this gives some insight as far as what are they doing with the feasts? What are they doing with the barrels? We need to see them back in the game. Did they really perform that poorly where they're just never going to show up again? I think more communication on that front is definitely needed here because we have Chaos Ore now. So are we just here to assume the same thing? We're going to get it in a tournament, an event. There's going to be some type of deal, limited offer deal that's going to pop up where we can purchase it, and then they're going to disappear from the face of Raid Shadow Legends forever. So I know many players have this concern since it did already happen with 2 of their new featured items already that players do like and enjoy. So listen, give me your thoughts, give me your feedback. What do you think they should do? Where should they be placing these items? And we're just here to hope for the best and hope they make the proper decision here and it's not a complete dumpster fire, because their performance is going to affect our analytics as far as how we, the player base, react to whatever they put in front of us. So if they mess up, it's going to show poorly, and it's not directly going to be because of us. So I'm assuming they're smart enough to figure that out, but you know what they say about assuming. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.